Hey you, so on this video, what you will need to survive the 2020 global recession, I'm going to be going over just that. A tick list of to-do, practices or just ways about you of how I think you can avoid or survive the upcoming 2020 global recession. So before we get into this, I'd like to say if you haven't done so already and you like what you hear/see, please do go ahead and subscribe, and also let me know anything, whether it's any plans or any actions or any things that you believe could contribute or add on to this list down in the comments. So also before we start, I'd want to mention, I'm saying 2020 global recession. Depending on who you ask, some would tell you're in recession now, or we are in recession now, or, we haven't felt the full-blown effects of recession at the moment. I don't specifically think it will happen, 12 o'clock, boom, 2020, hey, full-blown recession. It could be 2021 to 2010 and the likes of it, just as, from the 2020 onwards, just referring to it from there. I think at the moment, currently where we are when we're looking at recession-wise, I also do believe we're currently in recession, but slow moving, nothing too impactful at the moment. It usually takes one of the too big to fails, when they cough up some blood. That's when it normally gets attention, and then we start getting weak in the knees and start taking tumbles from there, and then we just have the whole domino effect. So that's where my stand is, but I do believe we're definitely going to be seeing massive major things come 2020 moving forward. So there's just my recommendations and things that I'm doing. I will give my own specific tick list at the very end of every step I've taken that I believe is going to have me, kicking my feet up, getting the popcorn out and watching the full-blown 2020 plus recession taking effect from my front room. So getting straight into this, I will be answering a few questions that I've also had on Instagram. I did mention it's taken me a while to get back to people, so I'm going to try bundle them all in on this here. So first thing I would say is, you want to be ready, and, you want to be able to survive the next coming global recession. I think we may have waves. I don't think we're going to get the absolute massive tsunami that's going to have silver coming into new highs, but I may separate that for another video. But it's going to be taking cash out savings. So, I've had a few questions regarding people's, the 401ks. And, in the UK, we have things like the premium bonds, I know, insane as it sounds, and other types of savings accounts, so even money in the bank. And so I would say, depending on who you are, once again, in answering the question, I believe the gentleman mentioned that he had his 401k and he was inquiring whether, or my opinions on, I believe it was withdrawing half out now, so 50%. And buying physical with it. He said he would have some years to pay back, over 5 years plus, and have to pay back some interest. But he believes taking the cash out now and putting it into physical will be a lot better, because he'll lose more in the long run, depending on his situation. Everybody's situation is different, as I show this American Gold Eagle in the background as we speak. So, that would be my first step or course of action, especially if you're in a situation where you have large amount of savings. As mentioned, I know premium bonds are real big in the UK, and it's I technically see it as a bit of a joke of a lottery system, but people hold a large amount of savings in these types of vehicles or investment schemes or Ponzi schemes, no matter how you look at them. But for me, seeing that the recession does come in and you have this idle cash, in my opinion, I think it would be a smart move to take some out. How much is all on you. If you got yourself and your family depend on it, my situation is going to be absolutely totally different from yours. But, I'll hopefully break down as to how much I have in my accounts to pay incoming bills, address any situations, have a little buffer, and I try to keep it as minimal as possible. So if you have more than enough of a comfort level, you need to really ask yourself, how much do you trust your government? And then how much do you trust yourself? Are you grown up enough to take your own financial stability and freedom into your own hands? And so I would advise taking out anything you have, as much as up to 50%, as the gentleman had recommended, as much to 80%, and putting it into some of the assets that we class as money that we'll be getting into in a moment. So from there, we also have another scenario that you could be in, and that's going to be debt. Do you want to pay off your debt? Or do you want to, abandon your debt, put it on the back burner and say F you to debt? that again is going to be very specific and different to everybody. I was recently speaking to a close friend about this, and he was mentioning that he would, absolutely scrap debt, forget paying it altogether, join the masses, get to the back of the queue, the bread line or whatever it is, and pretend to be suffering whilst you being, jumping on board whatever you thought was recession-proof money. I would say, it can depend on who you ask. It can come across very reckless to approach that. So I would say this, and a lot of people are already on this type of plan. I think this is the happy medium. If you have debt, if it's a large amount of debt, if it's important, really, serious debt, it could be credit card debt, it could be student loans, it could be financial in terms of mortgage type of debt. I would say this, to get the best of both worlds is, if you're not already doing this, would be go interest only. And interest only is different in different countries, I know, but it's just paying the actual interest on the debt and not the physical bulk itself. Now, if you're going to be doing something like that, you really want to be doing that to level up. I.e., if you normally put down, I don't know, $800 or £700 on your mortgage and you're only paying the interest, you could find yourself paying anywhere upwards of £200, $300. So what you would normally do then is use the excess to level up, put yourself in a much stronger, better position. That's my view when we're talking debt. And I'm saying that because if the recession's coming and there's going to be a lot of pain and suffering, you'd be better off putting yourself in a stronger, shielded position where you could technically really gain because everything will be down and your funds will be up. Whether it's increased in price or everything has decreased in price, that transfer of wealth that we all know about and many talk about is still there that you'll be able to capitalize on. So I say go, if you ain't already, I know a lot of people may already be on that, I would say go interest only. I know some people that have interest only on small debt. On major debt, they pay it off as you're supposed to. And then from there, we get on to what do you class as money and what do you want to put your money into and towards. And from here, this is a gold silver channel. It's going to be from here. This is going to be the gold and it's going to be the silver and lots and lots and lots of it. What do you class as money? So, you're taking all these steps. You want to be recession proof. What do you class as money? Here's what I class as money. Here's what I class as recession proof funds and money. Here's what I believe when the poop hits the fan, depending on what level and what degree that may be. I believe if you have this stuff here, you'll be in a fantastic position. Here is what I personally class as money. Here's what I believe when we see the next recession, whether it be as major or not even so much targeted like 2008, I believe if you have these things here, and I'm even going to include this. My strategy's changed to some degree, but this is no big surprise, and this is going to represent BTC, so Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. This is what I see as money as recession proof. If we're going to get real technical and break it down, this is money. Nobody on the planet's going to disagree. This is money for me. This is next gen money. Some would say gold 2.0, and that's going to be BTC once again referring to it. This is tomorrow's money. Old money is what's here now, is what we all are. Give or take, anybody watching this video is going to be around for the next 50 plus years. If you're lucky, we all want to be around for longer. Those coming up behind us may not view this or don't currently view this as it. They're going to be looking at something more virtual, whether it's introduced by world governments or not. So I see that happening. Is it being a visionary, or is it just going along with the trends and seeing what everything's gearing towards? This is also money 1.0. I would class that as silver, depending on who you ask. Industrial metal, the conversation's there to be had forever. Hardcore, bunker types would tell you it's barter. It's still money, but it's not seen as automatic money as this is here, and I believe as this will be here. In hard times, you need to resell this to some type of vendor. So it could be a middleman, whether you're going to a store, you could be going to some type of person that's doing some type of trading and do it transaction-wise like this. When you're talking the virtual stuff, which is kind of like the boogeyman to many, it can be individual to individual, zero middleman whatsoever, depending on, and that can be to buy a boat, a yacht, a house, anything. And then, so it's not going to be the same when you're talking about stuff like this. But then that can change tomorrow and vendors will accept gold. So it could be direct to direct, but, more liquid wise, you got this here, but it's not tangible once again. So depending on who you ask, it is what it is. But this is my war chest. Ultimately, I'm going to tick down every single thing when it comes to what you need. So I've been asked is also my view on guns, and I'm in the UK, not to forget, though I don't see how somebody watching this could get that mixed up. It's very strict, close to none here, although as many have mentioned in the past, you can have them. But my view on guns are, I think every human being on the planet deserves and has a means to defend himself, whether it's teeth, eyes, headbutt, whatever. And that's no different when we're talking guns. I think moving back in life, you become more sheltered. So I think they are necessary to defend your home, your loved ones, and your possessions. So I think bad things or bad people do bad things with, weapons and stuff like that. I think the guns ain't the issue. I think the insanity and the bad people are the issue. You'll always have bad people no matter where you are in the galaxy, and you'll always have good people. But I think it's not something that should be abolished or banned, regulated a lot heavier. Yes, certain types of people should not be allowed nowhere, so you need some stronger vetting. But I believe that also would be in my war chest sitting right here. So I'm a proponent. I'm all for guns and the means to protect yourself and your wealth. So as I mentioned, I can't actually display nothing here, so I'm all for it. Again, right here then would be freeze-dried food. That's my preference because UK, Europe-wise, it was easier to purchase, more expensive, but when you're looking at a big tin that is 30 plus years, I reckon you can get easily 50 years. It's a no-brainer for me. I've never shown it, but I will get to showing some at some point. Then you're looking at water filtration. This stuff here that I'm mentioning, a lot of people start to back up and think, whoa, Mad Max, where are we going with this? But, even just veering off a little right now up in Northern England, even in Italy, we have a situation in Yorkshire where, it's a horrible situation where people have had their houses flooded. My condolences go out to them. And you see situations where government was not willing to come in and help them. Now, some have mentioned that these people, it wasn't just a random act. They knew they was in floodline territory, but that's still not the issue. But the point I'm getting at is, and this has happened in the US, I believe also, when they also had a flood, you had the people angry at the government that they didn't get the help that they thought they would have got. A lot of people say, our armies and soldiers are all over the world. What are their interests, and they're able to help others. But when the crisis is on your doorstep, you drag your feet or think, well, you knew what you was getting yourself into. So the point I'm getting at is that you don't need a Mad Max scenario to start looking at these things, freeze-dried food, water filtration, the likes of, because these things are technically on a small scale within your country. As mentioned, it's in Northern England and Yorkshire right now is flooded. I believe certain places, but you have that community very upset with the government at the moment. I believe if the elections weren't on, they wouldn't be getting none of the lip service and, the kisses on the babies' foreheads. They technically wouldn't care. When you now make Northern England the whole of England, imagine if they can't even cope and send resources there. Yes, they can draw in the military, but still, I don't even think globally or even on a much larger scale, anything wants to happen, the government can't help you. These officers and everybody, they have their own lives also and their own families they need to get at. So the point I'm getting at is any type of disruption in the food supply chain. So a recession could bring that on. It could have people, governments not being paid. And it's something as simple as, some supply trucks being held up for a couple of days has a domino effect. And we ain't getting no food in. Then you have scenarios where people, as you can see, can tend to veer more towards the, what are we going to do, aggressive type. That's not Mad Max. Let's not forget. That is by no means a Mad Max scenario, but it's a scenario where you now have the entire country screaming they're not being helped. And I think it's physically impossible for them to be helped. So this is why when you have these things, the tick list, you are securing yourself for the most extreme Mad Max scenario. When you're talking your freeze-dried food, your ammunition, your means to protect yourself, your water filtration, and even what could technically be a real small minor scale from the UK to the USA. So this is why these things, I believe, are most definitely needed. So this is what I class as money. And, and the things I've just mentioned, this is what is going to help you survive the 2020 upcoming global recession. Whether it's small scale, once again, a too big to fail coughs up blood, and, who knows which company that's going to be, but it's no doubt going to happen. So given a quick rundown, my tick list is going to be, in the end of the day, gold is always going to be money. That is going to be money. What number one, numero uno, Then we'll have BTC is money 2.0 for me. You know, that's just the way I'm running it down. We'll have silver as money 1.0. I think the upcoming one, we may not see silver coming to its true potential. Who knows? It would be fantastic if it was, but I think we need more of a longer scenario for silver to truly and really come into its true potential, where we will be seeing insane gains. I think they will have a grip of it, but they won't be able to prevent it, but they will have more of a grip of it absolutely running away. Because I believe once silver runs away, they've really lost the reins. But you can most definitely see gains, whether we see the last highs or even up to the $30 plus, who knows. But once again, we could be seeing situations where bubbles are popping. So it could push you up a little more. If demand is really there, anything is possible. So who knows? But I personally don't believe we'll be seeing the insane, tightening of the ratio and then silver just running away and going for the hills. I think we'll need more heading towards Mad Max-ish, scenario-ish type of situation. Still 100% a fantastic asset to be holding in terms of retaining your wealth. Platinum, is anybody inquiring for the platinum group metals, how I technically look at them now, they're more investments. When platinum metal is going to be platinum, palladium, rhodium, I look at them as more investments, getting in now and then cashing them out a lot sooner when we have any type of price action. I already have the platinum ounces, so the next time platinum really jumps, I'll be dumping those and putting it into one of these or maybe some BTC. So the tick list from there, that's the metals. Then once again, it'll be your food, your freeze-dried food. It's my own personal preference. Mountain House. You have your water filtration, many different systems to look for, a means to protect yourself wherever you are on the planet. Try to keep it legal. And that's going to be everything there. So once again, I would love to hear anything that you guys can contribute towards the upcoming 2020 recession and what you believe, if it's course of actions or actual assets. What do you think money is? Do you believe bonds are money? What do you think money is? There's always a fantastic opportunity as well. So, look out for things that you may be interested in now, i.e. I was looking at a lot of cryptos that I ended up going back and picking up as they're 90% down. You could be looking at a stock, for instance, whether it's Amazon or whatever, and come a recession, a lot of people head for the banks, do bank runs, withdraw cash out. Put a little jot down now, things that you think have got great potential and they're recession proof. They will dip, but they'll bounce back up, and maybe take the opportunity to go in and scoop some of those up also. But please do let me know what you believe money is down below in the comments, and also let me know anything that you can add or contribute to this video. So I'm going to wrap this one up, guys, but it'll be fantastic if you let me know what you think of this. Please do go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll catch you guys on the rebound.